What's up, guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Mill, if you like. So let's get into it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. But yeah, let's get into it. So just want to wrap up, the coverage from this Philadelphia Eagles Cowboys game. It's been over 48 hours now since the game is done, and just a few things that kind of stood out to me. One, Dak Prescott actually played a pretty decent game. If not for some of those passes dropped at the end, his numbers actually would have looked much better. Cowboys probably would have won the game. And it was nice to see Ford come out after not playing for so long and play a decent game. Not a great game, a decent game. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a good game. I think it was just decent. I know I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh, he played awesome. He played phenomenal." But when you don't necessarily get the things that you're supposed to get done, even if the receiver's dropping and everything, you can't count those as completions because even though, they were thrown well and they should have been completions, they weren't. At the end of the day, they weren't. So I'm not putting that all on Dak. We'll get to one of the people I'm putting that on afterwards. But he played a decent game, and his numbers should have looked better. And maybe if some of those people come down with the pass, the game turns out a little bit differently. So another one of the players I want to get to, kind of like a star up, star down for homie. But in the first half, CeeDee Lamb was catching everything, right? My highlight of him in the first half was Dak Prescott dropped in the pocket and threw a pass out to his left. The defense is right. And at the beginning, because I couldn't see the all 22 at that time, it looked like the only person there was the defender. And then out of nowhere on my screen, CeeDee Lamb comes screaming into the screen and snatches the ball out of the air and cuts up field and gets a first down for the Cowboys. It was phenomenal to see CD do that. But then the star down part of him in the second half was the 3 drops. I don't count the 4th down and 2 as a drop because even though he went and he dove for it and it hit both of his hands and he didn't catch it, and I know we've seen CeeDee Lamb make plays like that several times, that's not necessarily considered a drop because if he would have made that catch, it would have been like legit spectacular. So if it takes a spectacular catch for you to make the catch, then that's not a drop. But on the crossing route, that was a drop. Earlier in that same drive when Dak Prescott hit him right in the hands, like hands and chest and all, and he dropped it, and that would have put us in the red zone. That one's considered a drop. The slant he had earlier is a drop. It seemed like CeeDee Lamb's concentration just kind of lapsed the more the game went on. I also do want to say that I think that the delay had a lot to do with that because the way our offense was moving prior to that delay as opposed to after that delay. And it's not just us. The same thing happened for Philly. The way Philly's offense was moving prior to that delay as opposed to after, like it just really put the kibosh on both teams' offenses. So, star down to the freaking rain delay as well as CeeDee Lamb's hands. Also, star up to and star down to Miles Sanders, right? Seeing that hole, getting to and through and getting that long run, that was awesome. Getting chased down from behind by Zach Bond and then fumbling literally like 3 plays later in the red zone. That sucked. That sucked badly. I know a lot has been made of the left guard missing the play. Tyler Smith, he missed his block on the play or he didn't secure his man on the play. And that guy is the one who caused Miles Sanders to fumble. But it doesn't matter, man. As a running back, you're going to get hit going to and through the hole all the time, whether a guy makes a block or not. So your job is to secure that football. That's like your first job. Like before you hit the hole, before you gain yards, you need to have that thing high and tight and really, really, really secure. And he did not have that thing high and tight or secure. And shout out to Dak. Again, another star for Dak because he made a great tackle on that play. If he hadn't been aware in that play and made that tackle, Philly probably returns that for a touchdown and the score looks a lot worse, because then it would have been, 31-20 Philly. And that would have pretty much put an end to it. I mean, it was already over, right? I don't think any team scored after the half. Philly didn't score, and Dallas didn't score. So it was just one of those situations where, you know, it sucks because Miles Sanders needs to hold on to that ball. And if Miles holds on to that ball, then, you know, we probably score on that drive, even if it's a field goal. And now Dallas is playing a lot different going into the end of the game on that last drive where CeeDee Lamb is dropping everything in sight. Also, starred up, star down. As you can see, this is a pretty consistent theme through this game is inconsistency, right? Because the defense in the first half, not consistent at all. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. You know, they didn't have any good contain on Jalen Hurts. I saw several plays, and one in particular when Izaraku rushes down hard inside, right? Because he wants to get to the quarterback. So he takes, you know, the tackle inside, and he puts pressure. Don't get me wrong, there was pressure, but it left the lane wide open outside for Jalen Hurts to just scramble and get yards, and he scored a touchdown on that play. If Izaraku sets the edge, then you force Jalen Hurts to either throw the ball or to take that ball inside, and when he's taking that ball inside, it's completely different as to who he's got to make miss in order to get that touchdown. Maybe he gets the first down, maybe he gets some yards still, but does he necessarily score based on that situation? I don't know, because Izaraku took a bad angle. And when you're playing running quarterbacks, we talked about this before the game started, is that the defense needs to build a cup around, you know, Jalen Hurts. You can't just allow free lanes on the outside for him to take off, because if he doesn't see anyone open, he's going to take off every time, right? The Cowboys bottled up, besides, you know, Mechie, they bottled up the Eagles receivers. You know, A.J. Brown had 1 catch. Devontae Smith had 3 catches. And pretty much you got beat up by Dallas Goedert and you got beat up by Mechie. But for the most part, the secondary did their job. So, you know, if you have the secondary doing their job and you have a better rush lane integrity, then, you know, again, the outcome of the game is very, very, very different. So there's that too. But one of the other things that stood out to me is one of the things we were talking about before the season started. As I let you guys know, the Cowboys offense was not going to hit the ground running. They were not going to come out here and be this 35-point juggernaut, you know, at the beginning of the season. It is going to build to a crescendo. And I still believe that, right? So I'm not overreacting to the first game, and neither should you, even though sometimes people will. But we'll see what happens next week when they go against the Giants. The Giants had a pretty decent showing today against the Commanders defensively. Offensively, they look to have a lot of the same problems. So we'll see how that goes as we move forward. But I think the Cowboys have a chance here to at least win some games while they're getting their shit together on offense and on defense, right? As they're becoming a better, well-rounded team, they might have a chance to win while learning that. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at JMillerIYL. You can also hit me up on knockersonthebottom at gmail.com or knockersonthebottom at outlook.com. Anything you have, questions there, anything you have comments, you know, leave them below. I'll take them anywhere. And, you know, love hearing from you guys. I'll always reply or at least like your comments back. So hit me up. But until next time, I'm your host, J Miller if you like. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.